I didn't even know that they were still rejecting foreigners like that. I don't know if this video is gonna get me in trouble. I can't even back that up. I don't know about that. Guys, please tell me why I'm calling for help every single time I do that. Or just don't eat at all. Just go to the convenience store. Hi guys, I'm actually so happy to be doing a sit down video again. Like, I feel like I miss these kind of videos where I just sit down and yap. I've just been on the go like so often. Like, sit down and relax, babe. That's what I'm doing right now. And to be honest, I don't know if this video is gonna get me in trouble, and I feel like it might, but like low-key, that's like the plot of everything. I've got my iPad. I got my laptop, and I've got all the tea. Well, I feel like I shouldn't spill everything to you guys at once, but I want to tell you guys like the basic things that you should know, especially if this is your first time going to South Korea. And a lot of people have been asking me for this video anyway, so I feel like it's really important that I address this for myself, for my friends, and for you guys, my besties, of course. So that's what I'm doing today. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Louise, because like really not hard. It's really not that hard. Period. In today's video, I'm going to be addressing the truth about South Korea that nobody tells you about. Like, when I say nobody, nobody's putting us on. Nobody is telling the new people what's going on in Korea. Like, I feel like people get to Korea and they're like, huh? When I got to Korea, I thought it was gonna be like the K-dramas. Of course, like, I don't care what people say when they're like, oh, how can you think that somewhere is like a movie? When I went to LA, I thought LA was Disney Channel and Nickelodeon type shit. So of course, when I go to Korea, I'm gonna think that it's a K-drama kind of style type shit where I'm gonna fall in love and have my K-drama moment. I remember when I addressed this on TikTok like a year ago too, and then like people are like, oh, how can you think that you're gonna have your K-drama moment? Like, it's so unrealistic. And yeah, of course it's unrealistic, but when I've never been in a place, the only interpretation of, not interpretation, the only picture or ideation I have in my head of Korea is K-dramas and K-pop, because that's the only thing I've been exposed to like before I went to Korea. So going to Korea and being exposed to a whole new world was like, what the? It's like a little heads up, because I don't want you to go to Korea with like everything I'm telling you and then it's like it might not be true, or it might be true, you know? I don't want you guys to go with like, oh my god, this is gonna happen to me, it's not gonna happen to me. Like, it's not for sure, but like, this is things that I've learned personally that I wish I had known before going to South Korea. And let me put you on before you make the same mistake, or you just don't know. So the fact that I'm giving this to you, you guys should like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, s.korea, and all my other socials are in the description below. And let's get started on with the video. Period. Okay, so the first thing, like, I feel like this is not really existent in, but when you get like, when you're walking the streets and you want to cross the road, right? In the UK, we have like a pedestrian crossing kind of thing where the traffic light system works. The traffic light goes green, yellow, red, and when it's red, the pedestrians cross. But in the UK, when you get to the pedestrian crossing where it's like a green, yellow, red kind of system, we press this button so that it kind of knows that someone's waiting there, so that it just doesn't go for too long and you're not waiting there for too long, and then it just goes red so that you can cross the street safely. Period. So please tell me, when I got to Korea, I thought it was the same system where I was pressing the button at the traffic lights thinking that was gonna stop the traffic lights on time so I can cross the road. Guys, please tell me why I'm calling for help every single time I do that. And the thing is, like, the guy I didn't even understand what the person would say. So of course, like, I would press it and I would just assume that the person like that speaks out in Korean is saying, don't worry, we're gonna stop the traffic lights for you, like, it's coming. I would always think like, why is someone speaking back to me when I press the button? Isn't it just meant to be a ding and I can cross the road? But like, I would press it and it's like and I'm just like, okay. And I'm just waiting there like an idiot. And the thing is, nobody even told me until one time I was with my Korean friend. Then he was like, why did you press that? And I was like, because the traffic lights, waiting for it to turn red. And he was like, that's not for traffic light system. And he was like, that's you calling for help because you're blind. Oh, so when you go to Korea, guys, this is my advice for sure, don't press it if you're not blind. Please don't press it. You don't need help, so you're good. Don't press it. That was my mistake. Another thing that was like really to me, they don't do takeaways. At least not in all restaurants. In most restaurants, I'll say like 70 to 30. The takeaway system is non-existent. It doesn't even work. It's not a thing. So when you go to Korea and like I want to eat like a Korean meal, just know for sure you have to either go with an empty stomach or just don't go at all. If you don't finish your food, it's considered rude, and sometimes in some restaurants they actually charge you like 2,000 or 3,000 won, which is not that much, but they're still charging you for food wastage because you didn't finish your food. Normally when I'm going on holiday and I don't finish my food, like the restaurant will have like a takeaway bowl that you can take out, or like they always have a system where you can take the food away, right? Not in Korea. Like if you can't finish your food, you're throwing it away, you're paying, not always, but you're paying a wastage fee, or you're just not gonna get that food. Like for example, when I ate, I actually vlogged it one time when I ate in that restaurant where all the students went to, and I had that, they gave me the fattest bowl of, I think it was chicken and rice or pork and rice. They gave me the fattest bowl of this thing, and I was like, what the heck? You gave me a fat bowl, then you also gave me side dishes. And mind you, I was hungry, but I wasn't as hungry. Like, I feel like when I saw the actual plate, the tray that they gave me, I was like, this is a lot of food. How am I going to finish it? And that immediately put me off. And, like, when I asked, can I have a takeaway for the rest of the food? Because I couldn't finish it. She was like, we don't do takeaway. How are you serving the fattest portions, especially for students, and you don't do takeaway? So, be wary when you come to Korea. I don't want to say all restaurants don't do takeaway, because of course it's gonna be like Burger King or like fucking like McDonald's. Of course they're gonna do takeaway. Well, like when it's like a traditional Korean food, 9 times out of 10 they don't do a takeaway system where you can take your food away and you would have to sit down in the restaurant and finish your food, or just don't eat at all. Just go to the convenience store, or just go to like somewhere, you know, just go to like a cafe. Like they definitely for sure do takeaway. But restaurants, they can be funny sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Cash and your physical card is what you need to survive Korea. Apple Pay doesn't really get you anywhere, I'm not gonna lie. What is king here is cash. Cash is king in Korea. When you have a physical card and cash, you're surviving. You're cruising. You are on cloud 9. Without the card, without cash, in some places you are stuck, because not everywhere accepts Apple Pay, and not everywhere is accepting like contactless payment. Like you have to put the physical card inside of the chip and pin. But what shocked me the most about being in Korea is the fact that I can take my physical card, or someone can, they don't steal here. Thank God. If it was like a scary country where people steal, someone can take your physical card and then go shopping with it, and they don't even need to know your PIN number, because all they have to do is put your card into this card reader, and then it just like does a little bleep, take your card out, and you paid. No chip and pin. That was so crazy to me. How was there no chip and pin? Like it's just a system where like even if you're at the arcade, you just push your card in and then it works. Even in a photo booth, just push your card in, then it works. Just wait 5-10 seconds and then boom, money's gone. It's gone. You don't need a pin. You don't need to tap that in, babe. It's like a contactless, but like with your card that you pushing in. I don't know how to describe it, but you go to a restaurant in America or whatever, put your card in, you type in the pin, and then you paid. In Korea, you put your card in, they wait 10 seconds, they take your card out, and then they give it to you. You paid. Crazy. So that's what I'm saying. Cash and your physical, I'm saying physical card is what you need to be on cloud 9 if you want to survive paying in Korea. Don't get me wrong, of course Apple Pay works, it works, but I feel like when you get stuck in situations where your Apple Pay is not working, like in a taxi or in a photo booth, or I don't know, someone that doesn't accept it, you got your cash as your standby and you've got your physical card. Please don't, like, how many times I have to tell you, bring your physical card to South Korea. Bring cash. And even if you plan on getting cash from the ATM, that's totally fine, but some cards don't work in the ATM, so bring cash, or bring like dollars or pounds that you can exchange in Korea. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Leading on my point with bring cash, transport cards only accept cash. To get around Korea, i.e. transport, there's this card called a T-Money card, and on a T-Money card you can use this to pay in convenience stores, you can use it to pay taxis, you can use it to pay subways and buses. With your T-Money card, however, if you want to top it up, you can't top up your T-Money Oyster card, travel card with a card payment. You have to top up your T-Money card in a convenience store or train station with cash, which is why, again, I'm reiterating, cash is king in Korea. Cash is 100% king. Like, it's still ruling. Like, that's the thing. Say like I want to pay like 50,000 won, which is like maybe like $40 or $35 on my T-Money card, which is a lot. I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot. That will last you a lot. But I can only top up 50,000 won onto my T-Money card to get around and travel on subways, on buses, in taxis. Like in taxis you can pay with cash, and card. But T-Money card is like you can pay everything with that. But you can only top up your T-Money card. Again, I am emphasizing, you can only travel in Korea with a T-Money card or a climate card. And you can only top up the T-Money card with cash. You can buy your T-Money card though in the convenience store with card, but cash. This was really crazy to me, and this has never happened to me like personally, but I've heard stories, which is why I want to say it as a point so that people don't get shocked. People ask, are places foreigner friendly? And I feel like some people may like look at that question and be like, why do you keep asking, is this place foreigner friendly? Maybe as someone who's been in Korea for a long time, I feel like this question of is this place foreigner friendly is such a valid question. When people ask me this question, I'm like, valid, because honestly I'd want to know this as well, because I'm hearing that my friend went to Mule like a couple weeks ago, and she was going into a restaurant, and then like she's black like me, and they kind of like disregarded her, and then the way they were acting was so off, and she basically said that they were telling her like she can't dine in the restaurant because she's black or because she's like not Korean. I don't know what was going on with that, but I was like, that's one of the craziest things for me to hear, that she got rejected from a restaurant in Seoul, because I didn't even know that they were still rejecting foreigners like that. So that really shocked me, that in big 2025 they didn't even serve her, but the next Korean couple that came after her, they sat them down straight away, and it's basically indicating to her that they don't want her in the vicinity of their restaurant, and that she basically just needs to get lost. They weren't interested in her basically. So that's like an example of, that's not a foreigner friendly restaurant, and that's not somewhere I would recommend you to go personally if you are a person of color, or if you were ethnically diverse to not being Korean, you know? And then also this happened, there's another club in Hongdae, which I can't name. I feel like I've named them before, and high-key I'm seeing people are getting sued for this shit. So but there's this club in Hongdae, one or two clubs in Hongdae that are 100,000,000,000% not foreigner friendly. They don't accept any foreigners, and I'm not talking about foreigners as in skin color. They don't accept Chinese, they don't accept Filipinos, they don't accept anything that's not Korean, which I think, whoa, the racism is, it's like, it speaks volumes. And I'm like, it's crazy how racism is so accepted in Seoul and nobody addresses it because they're just too scared. Like I see racist shit happen, and I'm just like, hello, like bitches are racist to each other, and I'm like, is nobody gonna address this fact? And it's like, okay, because it's so normal and it's so normalized, nobody addresses it, and they're just like, okay, it's whatever, move on. And I'm like, this will never ever run in the Western world. Like, you guys are you're so lucky that you're not in America, because in America them bitches sue bitches just for looking at them funny. Looking at them funny, you're getting sued. You spoke to me funny, you're getting sued. So you rejected me from a restaurant, you rejected me from the club because I'm not you? You are so lucky. Because I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple security guards in South Korea. I be watching you guys. I see you guys, and whenever I see you guys, I'm like, I'm gonna step back, because a lot of security guards are so fake. Don't even let me get into it, bro. Don't even. So when I hear that this shit is still happening when it comes to like foreigner friendly places question is such a valid question, because guys, I'm not gonna lie, people don't say it enough, but that racism. See, when did E get into racism? It still be happening. That's so funny. Like, people think, oh, it's only towards black people. I want you to be shocked when you get to Korea and you are a white person and you face that, and you're gonna be like, oh, I thought this was only black people. Hell no. Koreans, even to Koreans that are not like that weren't born and raised in Korea, same shit happens. When they find out that the person who's Korean is an American Korean, same thing. There's such a fine line when it comes to like how different they treat people, and it's so interesting. It's so interesting, and I feel like that's why I get more along with people that are Korean and they were raised abroad, because we can relate. We have a lot more in common than people that were raised in Korea, because people raised in Korea are cool. I'm not like, they're cool, but they're cool up. They were raised abroad. Low key. I feel like nowadays, which I love, is the fact that Korean people were conservative, and I feel like that started dying out more when I got to Korea. When I got to Korea, it was still a little tight, like with things that were happening, but like now in 2025, I'm seeing things that are happening, and I'm just like, I'm so proud that Korea has changed. Like I feel like people are still saying that, like, you know, tattoos are not accepted, like you have to cover your shoulders, and you have to cover your arms, and you have to cover your skin, and like you have to dress a certain way, like you have to do this and that, and you can't eat and drink on like walking, or like on the subway, you can't people say random stuff, you know. That's like it's getting old now. I'm walking the streets of Korea nowadays, and I'm just like, wow, look at everybody, look at this,
look at us, hey, look at us, look at us, huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
like it's so accepted, like the things that were so like taboo before, like seeing that now, like in 2025, it's just so refreshing, because it just feels like, wow, like Korea's actually improved in like such a positive way, which is like it's adopted to many cultures, which I really like. And the fact that like all these things that were taboo, or people like, they know it's like an unspoken rule, like the unspoken rules that people are like too scared to like do. I feel like nowadays it's just so nice to see. Like for example, like before I feel like people would say you can't get tattoos on, like showing tattoos, because people stare, which is true. And I'm not gonna lie, I stare at tattoos, like even if I'm not in Korea, like not because I don't like it, I'm like, that's why I'm staring. But nowadays a lot of Koreans have tattoos. It's very, very normal for every other person to have a tattoo, sleeve, or like a little tattoo that's like on the shoulder, like on the leg tattoo. Like it's so normal for like a Korean to not have tattoos. Very normal. Off the shoulders as well. Show your shoulders, girl. Have the shoulders out, but don't do too much. It's the same with every other country. Like, why would you want to go to a country that's not your country and then do too much on your dressing? Unless you're having a night out, go crazy. Like, go crazy, because honestly, everyone goes crazy on a night out. But like when you're doing a day-to-day, just dress how you would normally dress, but don't do too much with it. Like, just be you. Everyone is just so calm with you being yourself, because there's so many different things, so many, like, there's so much happening in Korea. Like, people are not gonna give a shit about you, bro. Not gonna lie. And the swearing as well. People, when you swear though, yo, like, everyone's looking at you when you swear. So, no, she bad. People are like, what the fuck? Obtaining a Korean visa is difficult. I'm not gonna lie. There's different types of, like, visa settings and, like, visa categories that you can go and get a visa under. But I feel like when you don't have a plan, if you're not planning to work, if you're not planning to go to school, if you're not planning to do a Korean school, language learning school, then obtaining a visa just because you want to live in Korea for no reason is gonna prove so difficult. I'm not gonna lie. There's no reason for me to lie. You even need to marry someone and get a Korean passport, or I don't know, someone has to sponsor you, which is going to be difficult unless you know someone that's been living in Korea for a long time. But if you can't get a sponsor, you can't get someone to marry you, which is kind of weird. If you want to get someone to marry you just because you want a Korean passport, you're not going to language school, you're not going to work, you're not being an English teacher, you're not going for school like abroad, don't get a visa. It's going to prove so difficult. You're going to go through treacherous stuff just to get a visa, because if you get a working holiday visa and you're not actually working, they will revoke that shit from you. Like, you know, you're not planning to work, just do the 6-month visa free and then call it a day. I'm not gonna lie, people portray, and you know what, I'm guilty, I won't lie, I'm guilty, but people portray this fantastic life of Korea and like living in Korea and like being on cloud 9 and just being that bitch, which facts, like I feel like whenever I'm in Korea, I always feel like I'm that girl, I'm that bitch, you know. But whenever I see like the hardships of life, and I'm just like, I'm actually so grateful for the fact that I didn't grow up in South Korea, because they have it hard. Like, it's not an easy life. Like I feel like it's actually such a difficult life to grow up into, because they're so hardworking, and then they push the children themselves to be so hardworking to the point that they almost don't even have a life, because they're working so hard on being like having that job, and they have so much ambition on just work, and they're just so work driven. And I feel like for me, I want to be work driven, of course, but like I still want to have this social life. But it's all like, when I look at the Koreans and like what they're offered, that social life is not really a choice if you want to be the best, and everyone wants to be the best. So you see, it's proven quite hard. So I'm happy that I didn't grow there. I grew up there. And then even like working as well, the working culture is so hard. You don't get time off, you're working all the time, you're always tired when you get back from work. Like, that's not what I want to do. I like the temporary life of being in Korea, but like permanent, you should definitely like think about it. Like, is that really something you want to do for a long time? Like, if that's something you want to do, fair enough. But personally for me, I just don't enjoy that kind of 9 to 5 kind of working, coming back home tired, can't go out at night. having the weekends off, and by the time like the weekend comes, it's already Monday again and I have to go back to work, and that's not something that I enjoy personally. But if that's for you, you can always be my guest. Try and get the visa. Like, it's not gonna kill you, like trying to get it. But I just feel like if you have no plan and you have no ambition of what you actually want to do, it's gonna be so difficult for you to get. I'm not gonna lie. And also, if you are planning on going to Korea, like I said, for the 6 months or 3 months, if you're allowed on your passport, I feel like don't stay only in Seoul. And it's like, don't be silly and stay in one city just because it's so fun. Like, yeah, Seoul is so fun and it has so much to offer, but you stay in there, you won't see what the whole of South Korea has to offer. Like, Jeju Island is absolutely so beautiful, and even though like the transport system is kind of like, I feel like if you're there for like a couple of days, you can definitely figure it out. Busan is one of my favorite cities in Korea. Like, honestly, that city is, I call it like a clean, refreshing city because the air feels so clean, the people are so nice, the food is so good, like, and it has beaches. Like, Busan is honestly up there, and that's where JK and Jimin grew up, and they used to be my bicycle on BTS. So, and then like Daegu as well, like you should definitely give it a try. And then there's another place, why did I just totally blank? But it also has a beach. It's absolutely stunning. And like, I feel like just exploring like different places in Korea, like South Korea, it's a vibe. I think you should do it personally, like, especially when you have the time for it, you should 100% do it. And the transport time there, like Jeju you have to fly to, but the other places you can get a train to, vibe. Just go from Seoul station, go there for like 2-3 days, a weekend, like a week. If you're staying there for 3 or 6 months, definitely 100% you should go. Or you can go to Japan. As cliche as this sounds, it's like a TikTok thing, and people are like, oh yeah, are you open-minded? But like, on a real thing, my men nowadays are so open-minded to dating. And I feel like before it was like, oh yeah, they're just dating for the experience, and it's like, okay, but nowadays I'm seeing in the streets like mixed couples. I'm seeing a Korean man with a black girl, I'm seeing a Korean man with a white woman, a Korean man with an Indian girl, a Korean man. Like, men are really branching out, because I feel like before it was always Korean women. Like, Korean women they've always been open. There's never been a time where I've seen a Korean woman won't like go for a foreigner. Like, I've always, that's something that I've always seen. So that's not something that's new to me. Like, they love it. I absolutely love that they love it, because they've always been open. Like, I feel like that's just always been a thing. Like, even the same in Japan, like the Japanese girls, they've always been open, which is why when you go to Japan and you see Blasian kid, you just know for a fact that the Blasian kid's like parent, the mom is a Japanese one. Like, I just always know, because they've just always been open. So I feel like the same applies to Korea, where like it's always been like the women that was open and like the men that were like so tunnel vision for Korean women. I feel like nowadays I'm seeing like Korean men marrying black girls, they're marrying Arab girls, they're marrying Indian girls, they're marrying everybody. And you know what's so crazy as well? They marry the foreigners get a stay, whatever, blah blah blah. Then they have a kid, then the government pays the family for having a kid. What? Hello? Why is the UK not on that? You're telling me all I have to do is have a kid in Korea and you're paying me to have a kid? America could never. Americans are legit crying and yelling and screaming and ripping their hair out. They're like, what the freak? Their man are paying 55k on insurance just to have a kid. And you're telling me that in Korea you have it for free. And they pay you just to have a kid. Crazy. I don't know. I just see how much nowadays, where like, personally not for me, because it's not for me. Like, for me, I just feel like long-term relationships is not something that I ever desired or desire. I'm not gonna lie, I did desire in the beginning, because I was like, I did like this one guy and I was like, we could be like endgame. But like, with my eyes open, I was like, oh my god, this is so nice to see that families are accepting black girl and they're being so open and they're being so supportive and blah 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 blah. Like, my friend, for example, she got married in April in Korea to a Korean man, and she's a black woman, and she has a kid. Oh my gosh, she has a kid, and his family accepted her with open arms. They accepted the kid. It was such a beautiful, absolutely stunning wedding, which, mind you, his family paid for, and she's just relaxing, blah blah, and now she lives in Korea with her kid. It's honestly so cute. Her kid's like 3 or 4, and he's accepted that. They got married, and it's not even on no funny business. And it's so weird when people like to, how do I say, when they like to put black women down, to say, oh, like, that guy's only dating you because he wants to like experience blah blah, whatever they say about us. Like, I always look at people that say shit like this, like, oh, because you're black, or just because you're black. Like, it's always an excuse, or just because you're black, just because you're black, just because you're black. Like, oh, he likes big bumps, so he went with you just because you're black and you have big bum. Like, I feel like they're always trying to push us down, which is why nowadays when I see comments like this, I don't even fight it. 9 times out of 10, the people that are judging our experience of something they're not even in, they've never even been to Korea, they've never been in a relationship, and then they're just unloved. That's what I've just noticed. People that really put down a woman or a man or whoever is just such an unloved person, and someone with no love is not someone that you want to touch, because then you start rotting, like they're rotting from the inside, and you don't want to touch any rotten fruit. So don't touch any rotten comments. Let the comment rot and it will keep rotting. That's it, because people are unloved and then they just try and put other people down just to make them feel as shit as them. That's what I've learned, and that's the life lesson of today. As you guys know, favorite thing to eat from the convenience store is the carbonara spaghetti. I like eating this specific one because when I go to other pasta restaurants in Korea, I always want like a bolognese, like an Italian bolognese, like a nice one. And then I eat the Italian bolognese and I'm like, why is my bolognese got sugar in it? Why is my pizza sweet? Like, I'll be eating chips. Why is my chips sweet? Why is my burger sweet? Like, why has it got honey in it? Like, why is my salt bread glazed with honey? Like, sweet. I'm having a garlic bread from Onion Cafe, and the garlic bread has got sugar in it, and I'm just like, what the hell? So that's why sometimes I like eating in convenience store foods, or I just mostly eat convenience store foods like every other day, because the food there is not sweet majority of the time. Don't quote me on that, because sometimes it could be sweet. Maybe my taste buds are changing, but majority of the time it's not sweet. And Korean food, I'm not gonna lie, they serve sweet food, and then when you eat and take a bite into, you're gonna be like, what the hell? Why is my food glazed? And I honestly, I wish I could answer that question for you guys. Honestly, to this day, can't lie, I don't know. I can't even back that up. I don't know about that. And the last thing that I'm gonna touch on is, a lot of people say, oh, when you're in Korea, why do you wake up so late? Why do you go out so late? I want to hold your hand when I say this. If you're coming to Korea on holiday, just know that you're going to be sleeping in until 9, because the earliest like a famous cafe will open is 10:30 or 11. You'll be lucky if the cafe opens at 9. Unless it's a Starbucks or it's a chain restaurant, it's not opening until 11, babe. It doesn't make sense to me, because by the time it's 11 o'clock, it's lunchtime. Like, I want to be eating like a brunch by 11:30, 12. But the cafe I want to go to opens at 11. So that pushes lunch to dinner. And that's when I always say, in Korea, it's never breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's cafe, dinner, bed, repeat. You know, your day doesn't start until 10:30 or 11. Shopping centers only open at 10:30 or 11. Shops only open 10:30 to 11. Things only open 10:30 to 11. The market only opens like 9 or 10 o'clock. Like, your day's not going to start until 10. So I just want you to keep that in mind for when you're coming on holiday here. But if you want a quick coffee fix, Starbucks, convenience store foods, Holly's, Mega Coffee, Pax Coffee, Compost Coffee, they're open from like 6. So like, if you want to get work done in a cafe, those are definitely places you can go. But if it's like a place where you've seen this like cute restaurant on Naver and you've saved it to your Naver list or Google Maps or Apple, whatever, 9 times out of 10 the place is not gonna open until 10:30 or 11. But a perk in that though is that cafes close quite late, so they'll close like 9 or 10, most cafes, which I like, because Koreans drink coffee any time of the day. They drink that shit at midnight. Like, the Americano, no sugar, no milk. Crazy concept, by the way. No sugar, no milk Americano. Just coffee, water, ice, and vibes. So yeah, keep that in mind. And with that, that's the last point I'm going to make for this video. If I've left out anything, therefore, if you guys have been to Korea or you've seen points that's been made online that a lot of people agree with, I definitely think that you should leave that in the comments below, so that anyone who is visiting Korea or moving to Korea or whatever in Korea has those points as well, because I don't think I've even touched on like a lot of things. I feel like this is very surface level. There's things that are very deeper. There's things that are deeper that maybe I've forgotten to mention. Like, these are just points that I've just put together over a course of a few weeks or months, and I'm just like addressing that right now. But if I've left anything out and you've been to Korea, you know about it, definitely please put that in the comments, because even I could be learning from you. There's things that I'm still learning every single day. Oh yeah, one more thing that people say is, do I have to know Korean to go to Korea? You don't. But ideally, you'd want to learn some Korean, because a lot of people don't speak English, or they find it difficult to speak English, or they're shy to speaking English. So if you're able to speak in Korean, just basics is always appreciated. Like, basic is better than nothing. you know. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you didn't make it this far, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, s.korea, and all my other socials are in the description below. I hope you guys have learned a lot from this video, and if you haven't, then shut up. But you should shut up. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and it's been your girl Louise, and I'll see you guys in my next YouTube video, and that's on what, and that's on period put on breakfast. Bye. Annyeong.